The Little Princess's Floating Potion Experiment. Once upon a time, in a bright and cheerful kingdom called Sunbeam Valley, there lived a curious little princess named Lila. Princess Lila was only 4 years old, with brown curls that bounced when she ran, and a crown that was always slightly tilted on her head because she couldn't stop moving around. Unlike most princesses who loved singing, dancing, or dressing up, Lila loved experiments. She had a tiny lab in her playroom with jars of colored water, shiny pebbles, and sparkly dust that she had collected from the palace gardens.
Science is just like magic.
She always told her kitten, Whiskers.
Except you get to make the magic yourself.
Whiskers would meow and curl up on her desk, as if agreeing. The idea of a floating potion. One sunny morning, while the royal chef was preparing pancakes and the gardeners were trimming the rose bushes, Lila had a big idea. She wanted to make a potion that could make things float.
Imagine if my toys could float in the air.
She whispered to Whiskers.
My teddy could dance above my bed, and I could float my crayons right into my hand when I want them. Oh, Whiskers, it will be the best potion ever.
Whiskers purred, though he secretly hoped the potion wouldn't make him float. Princess Lila ran to her experiment table, put on her little apron with sparkly stars embroidered by her nanny, and opened her notebook. She drew a picture of her idea, a jar with swirly sparkles rising out of it, and a teddy bear happily floating in the air. She wrote the title with her clumsy handwriting, Floating Potion Experiment by Princess Lila. Gathering ingredients. To make her potion, she needed ingredients. But where could she find them? Lila skipped through the castle halls humming a tune. She asked the royal gardener, Mr. Poppy,
Do you have anything that makes things light, like feathers?
Mr. Poppy chuckled and gave her a handful of soft dandelion seeds.
These float on the wind, Princess. Maybe they'll help.
Next, Lila went to the royal kitchen. She asked Chef Clara,
Do you have something bubbly like fizzy drinks?
Chef Clara scratched her head and handed her a little jar of sparkling soda water.
Be careful, it tickles the nose.
Finally, Lila went to the wizard's library, where Grand Wizard Willow was studying. She tugged at his robe.
Do you have sparkles that can lift things up?
Wizard Willow stroked his long beard.
Lifting sparkles. Ah, yes.
He handed her a pouch of glittering dust.
But remember, Princess, every experiment needs patience.
I promise.
Lila said, hugging the pouch, mixing the potion. Back in her room, Lila laid out all the treasures. Dandelion seeds from Mr. Poppy, sparkling soda water from Chef Clara, glittering dust from Wizard Willow. She placed her teddy bear, Sir Fluffles, next to the table.
Don't worry, Sir Fluffles. You'll be the first to float.
Whiskers raised an eyebrow, or at least as much as a kitten could. Lila carefully poured the sparkling water into a glass jar. Fizz, 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 fizz. Bubbles danced to the surface. Next, she sprinkled in the dandelion seeds. They swirled around like tiny parachutes. Finally, she added just a pinch of glittering dust. Shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. The whole jar began to glow.
It's working.
She gasped.
I'll call it Floaty Sparkle Potion.
The first test. Lila dipped her spoon into the jar and flicked a drop onto Sir Fluffles' paw. At first, nothing happened. Then, wiggle, wobble, lift. Sir Fluffles slowly rose from the table, his button eyes staring straight ahead.
He's floating.
Lila squealed, clapping her hands.
Sir Fluffles is floating.
The teddy bear drifted higher, bumping gently against the ceiling. Whiskers meowed nervously and hid under the blanket, but Lila twirled in delight.
It works! My experiment works!
Too much potion, but Lila was curious.
What if I add more glitter dust? Maybe I can make Sir Fluffles spin in circles.
She sprinkled another spoonful. The jar glowed brighter. This time, not only did Sir Fluffles spin like a ballerina, but the spoon, the notebook, and even Lila's crayons lifted off the table.
Oh! Oh my!
Lila gasped. The crayons floated around the room like colorful rockets. The spoon zoomed past Whiskers, who darted across the bed in fright. Her notebook flipped open in midair, pages fluttering. Lila laughed at first, but soon she frowned.
Uh-oh. Maybe I used too much.
The potion jar itself started to hover. Then whoosh! The entire jar tipped over, and potion splashed across the floor. Floating trouble. The potion spread everywhere, and anything it touched began to float. Her shoes floated up, spinning like tops. Her pillow floated above the bed, drifting like a cloud. Even Whiskers yelped as a tiny drop touched his tail, and suddenly, meow, he floated straight up into the air, paws flailing.
Whiskers!
Lila cried. She jumped, trying to catch him, but he drifted higher, bumping into the chandelier.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
She whispered, her cheeks turning pink.
This is not what I planned.
The whole room looked like a flying circus. Toys spun above her head. Books floated like sleepy birds. A crown drifted off her head and hung in midair, asking for help. Princess Lila knew she needed help before the whole castle floated away. She ran to Grand Wizard Willow's study, her little shoes tapping quickly across the marble floor.
Wizard Willow! Wizard Willow!
She cried.
My potion worked, but it worked too much. My room is flying away.
Wizard Willow chuckled kindly.
Ah, every great scientist makes mistakes. What matters is how we fix them.
He handed her a small brown vial.
This is the grounding potion. One drop will bring floating things back down. But remember, Princess, you must use it wisely, and you must clean up after your experiment.
I will!
Lila promised, clutching the vial, fixing the mess. Back in her room, Lila opened the vial. She held Whiskers gently as he floated by and dropped one tiny drop on his fur. Plop! Whiskers sank softly onto the bed, his eyes wide.
There. No more floating for you.
She soothed, stroking him. She touched the pillow, the shoes, the crayons, and one by one, they floated down, settling where they belonged. Finally, she reached Sir Fluffles, who was still spinning like a top. She dropped the potion on his fluffy head, and plop, he landed safely on the table again. The room was calm once more, though a little messy. Glitter dust sparkled everywhere. Lila sighed with relief.
That was close.
Learning the lesson. That evening, After dinner, the king and queen came to visit Lila's room. They found her sweeping the floor, picking up toys, and writing notes in her notebook.
What happened here, my dear?
Asked the queen, noticing glitter on the curtains.
I was experimenting.
Lila admitted.
I made a floating potion. It worked, but I didn't use it carefully. Everything floated away, even Whiskers.
Whiskers meowed loudly as if confirming the story. The king chuckled.
Well, my little scientist, it sounds like you learned something important.
Lila nodded.
Yes, experiments are fun, but I have to be careful. Too much of something can cause big trouble, and I always need to clean up afterward.
The queen kissed her forehead.
That is a very wise lesson, Princess.
Sweet dreams. That night, Lila snuggled into bed with Sir Fluffles and Whiskers curled up beside her. She whispered,
Next time, I'll make a new potion. Maybe one that makes flowers sing. But I'll be careful, I promise.
Whiskers purred softly, and Sir Fluffles sat quietly by her pillow, safely on the ground. As she drifted into sleep, Lila dreamed of floating castles and dancing stars, but in her dreams, everything stayed exactly where it was supposed to be. And so, the little princess scientist learned that even the best experiments need balance, care, and responsibility.